In the summer of 1998, a mother turned away from her kitchen window for just 90 seconds to stir a pot on the stove. When she looked back, her 7-year-old daughter was gone from the backyard swing. The child who needed insulin shots twice a day to survive had vanished without a scream, without a struggle, without a trace. And the only person who saw what happened was a 4-year-old girl watching from her bedroom window. A little girl no one believed. This is the story of Lily Carson. A story about how quickly a life can disappear, and about a small town in Utah that learned the hardest way possible that danger doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it comes quietly. Sometimes it happens in broad daylight. And sometimes the only voice telling the truth belongs to a child too young for anyone to take seriously. Cedar Springs, Utah, population 3,200. A town where Main Street had one stoplight, where the biggest event of the year was the 4th of July parade. The kind of place people moved to for safety, for community, for the promise that nothing bad could ever happen here. Maple Street sat on the quiet east side of town. Old cottonwood trees, modest homes with front porches. Kids rode bikes until dark. Neighbors borrowed sugar and lawnmowers. Everyone knew everyone, and everyone trusted everyone. The Carson family lived in a pale yellow house halfway down the block. Jennifer Carson was 32. She worked part-time at the public library, shelved books, helped patrons, wore her brown hair in a practical ponytail. Patient and kind. The type of mother who never missed a school event. Mark Carson was 35, manager of Carson Hardware on Main Street. His father had started the business 40 years ago. Mark knew every customer by name. Solid and dependable. He coached Little League on weekends, fixed things around the house without being asked. They had 2 daughters. Lily was 7, Emma was 4. Lily was small for her age. Long blonde hair her mother braided every morning. Blue eyes that always seemed thoughtful. She was quiet. Preferred reading to playing outside. Drew pictures constantly. Horses and castles and families holding hands. Her teachers called her responsible. The kind of child who never caused trouble. But Lily carried a burden most 7-year-olds never had to think about. She had type 1 diabetes, diagnosed when she was 5. Her pancreas didn't produce insulin. Without it, her blood sugar would climb dangerously high. Ketoacidosis, coma, death. Jennifer kept a rigid schedule. Blood sugar checks 4 times a day, insulin injections twice daily, morning before breakfast, evening before dinner. She counted every carbohydrate Lily ate, carried emergency glucose tablets everywhere. Lily wore a medical alert bracelet, silver chain, red letters, diabetic, insulin dependent. Jennifer made sure the people in Lily's daily life knew. Teachers at school, the school nurse, parents of Lily's close, friends, families they saw regularly at church. She kept extra supplies at Lily's classroom, at her mother's house. She was terrified of something going wrong when she wasn't there. Terrified of losing her daughter to a disease she couldn't see or control. But not everyone on Maple Street knew about Lily's condition. The neighbors she only waved to from a distance. The elderly couples without children who kept to themselves. People who saw Lily playing outside but never spent time with her up close. They might have noticed the bracelet if they looked carefully. But most people didn't. Emma was different from her sister in every way. Wild brown curls, energy that never ran out. She talked constantly, asked endless questions. She followed Lily everywhere, wanted to do everything her big sister did. The girls shared a bedroom at the back of the house, bunk beds with pink sheets, Lily on top, Emma on bottom. The room had one window that looked out over the backyard. Emma liked to sit on the bottom bunk and stare out that window for hours. She watched squirrels. She watched birds. She watched her big sister play. Our community in Cedar Springs believed in looking out for each other. Women organized meal trains when someone got sick. Men helped fix cars. Kids played together while parents chatted over coffee. It was the kind of place where you didn't lock your doors, where you trusted your neighbors because why wouldn't you? Maple Street was especially close. Everyone watched out for everyone else's children. It was safe. It was home. Nothing bad ever happened on Maple Street. Until July 14th, 1998. That afternoon was hot. The kind of dry Utah heat that made the air shimmer. Temperature hit 92 degrees by 3 o'clock. Jennifer had the day off from the library. She planned to make dinner early. Mark was working late doing inventory. At 3 o'clock, Lily had her insulin shot. Jennifer checked her blood sugar first. 118. Perfect. She gave Lily the injection. Quick pinch. Lily didn't even flinch anymore. After the shot, Jennifer let the girls have popsicles. They sat on the back porch steps. Red, sticky fingers. Happy. Around 4:15, Jennifer sent the girls outside to play. Go burn off some energy before dinner. Lily went to the swing set. She loved the swing. She could pump her legs and go high, feel like she was flying. Emma wanted to go too, but Jennifer said no. You're too little for the big swing. Play in your room for a while. Emma pouted, but obeyed. She went to the bedroom, climbed onto the bottom bunk, pressed her face against the window screen. She could see the whole backyard from there. The swing set, the fence, the alley, and parts of the neighboring yards. Jennifer went to the kitchen. She pulled out ingredients for spaghetti. Lily's favorite. She filled a pot with water, put it on the stove, started chopping vegetables, onions, garlic, bell peppers. She glanced out, the window every minute or so. She could see Lily on the swing. Blonde braids flying. Everything was fine. At 4:30, the phone rang. Her mother, calling to remind her about Sunday dinner. Jennifer talked while she stirred the pot. She kept glancing out the window. Lily was still swinging. The call lasted maybe 90 seconds. When Jennifer hung up, she went back to the stove. She stirred the sauce, added oregano, tasted it. Needed salt. She turned to the cabinet, grabbed the salt shaker, turned back to the stove. Then she looked out the window again. The swing was empty, moving slightly, like someone had just gotten off. Jennifer felt a flicker of unease. She walked to the back door, opened it. Lily? No answer. Lily, where are you? Maybe she went inside. Jennifer checked the house. Living room, empty. Bathroom, empty. The girl's bedroom, empty. Her unease turned to worry. Lily. Her voice was louder now. Lily, answer me right now. Emma appeared in the hallway. Her face was pale. Mommy. What, honey? I saw something. Jennifer's heart started beating faster. What do you mean? I was watching from the window. Lily left. What do you mean she left? Where did she go? Emma pointed toward the bedroom. Come see. Jennifer followed. Emma climbed onto the bottom bunk, pointed out the window. I saw a lady. She came to the fence. She called Lily. Lily got off the swing and walked over. What lady? Emma, who did you see? I don't know. She had a really big hat. I couldn't see her face. What did she look like? Emma scrunched up her face, trying to remember. A blue dress, I think, and the big hat, like this. She made a circle above her head with her arms. Jennifer's mind raced. Who could it be? Where did they go? Emma pointed toward the back of the yard. They went that way, toward the alley. Did you see where they went after that? Emma shook her head. No, the fence was in the way. But Mommy, there's something else. What? Emma's voice dropped to a whisper. I saw a blue monster. A blue monster? What are you talking about? Emma nodded seriously. A big blue monster. It was in the alley. It made a really loud noise. Then it went away really fast. Emma, was it a truck? Was it a blue truck? Emma thought about this, then nodded. Maybe. It looked like the big trucks at Daddy's store. Did you see who was driving it? Emma shook her head. I couldn't see. Which way did it go? Emma pointed. That way, down the alley. Jennifer's hands started shaking. She ran outside. Lily! She screamed it this time. Lily Carson, you answer me right now! Nothing. She ran to the nearest neighbor. Mrs. Rodriguez pounded on the door. Have you seen Lily? Jennifer's voice was panicked. Mrs. Rodriguez looked concerned. No, why? What's wrong? She's missing. I can't find her. Emma says she saw someone take her. Mrs. Rodriguez's hand went to her mouth. Take her? Who? I don't know. Emma saw a woman in a big hat and a blue truck. Mrs. Rodriguez stepped outside. I'll help you look. She called to her boys. Within minutes, half the street was searching. People checked yards, garages. They called Lily's name. The sound echoed down the block. Desperate, urgent. Jennifer ran back home. She needed to call Mark. She needed to call the police. Her hands were shaking. Mark answered on the first ring. Carson Hardware. Mark, you need to come home, right now. What's wrong? Lily's missing. What? I looked away for just a minute. Emma says someone took her. A woman. And there was a blue truck. Mark's voice changed. I'm coming. Call the police. Jennifer dialed 911. My daughter is missing. She's 7 years old. Someone took her from our backyard. How long has she been missing? Maybe 15 minutes. 20 at most. Jennifer remembered the most important thing. She has diabetes. Type 1. She needs insulin shots. If she doesn't get her evening shot by 6, her blood sugar will spike. She could die. The dispatcher's tone became urgent. Officers are on the way. Stay at your house. Jennifer couldn't stay still. Neighbors were everywhere now. Searching, calling. Everyone was helping. Everyone was terrified. Mark's truck screeched to a stop. He jumped out. Where is she? Jennifer was crying. I don't know. I've looked everywhere. Mark ran inside, found Emma sitting on her bed. Emma, I need you to tell me what you saw. A lady came. She called Lily. Lily went with her. What did the lady look like? She had a big hat. I couldn't see her face. What was she wearing? A blue dress, I think. And the hat was really big. Where did they go? Emma pointed out the window. That way. To the alley. Did you see a truck? Emma nodded. A blue monster truck. It was loud. Mark ran outside. He ran to the alley, looked both ways. Empty. Tire tracks crisscrossed everywhere. Impossible to tell which were fresh. Lily, his voice echoed. Lily, Daddy's here. Answer me. Police sirens wailed in the distance. 2 patrol cars pulled onto Maple Street. Lights flashing. 4 officers got out. Chief Samuel Brooks was one of them. 50 years old. 25 years with Cedar Springs PD. He walked up to Mark and Jennifer. Tell me everything, Jennifer explained. I was making dinner. Lily was on the backyard swing. I looked away for maybe 90 seconds. When I looked back, she was gone. Emma saw something from her bedroom window. The chief turned to Emma. Hi, Emma. Can you tell me what you saw? I saw a lady. She came to the fence. She called Lily. Lily went to her. What did the lady look like? She had a big blue dress and a really big hat. Could you see her face? Emma shook her head. The hat was too big. Do you know who she was? Emma hesitated, then shook her head again. I couldn't tell. Did you see anything else? Emma nodded. I saw a blue monster truck in the alley. It made a loud noise. Then it drove away. Which direction? Emma pointed. That way. The chief radioed his officers. We're looking for a blue truck, large, last seen in the alley behind Maple Street heading east. Also looking for a woman. Blue dress, large brimmed hat, possibly connected to the missing child. He turned back to Mark. Your daughter has a medical condition? Jennifer answered. Type 1 diabetes. She needs insulin injections twice a day. If she doesn't get her evening shot by 6, she'll be in serious danger. The chief looked at his watch. 5 o'clock. How serious? If her blood sugar gets too high, she'll go into diabetic ketoacidosis. Her body will start shutting down. She could have seizures. She could slip into a coma. She could die. How long do we have? Maybe a few hours, maybe less. The chief's expression hardened. We're treating this as a critical abduction. Time-sensitive medical emergency. He turned to his officers. I want every house on this street searched. I want roadblocks on every exit out of town. I want every blue truck in Cedar Springs located and checked. Now. Officers scattered. The chief stayed with Mark and Jennifer. Does Lily know anyone who drives a blue truck? Has anyone shown unusual interest in her? Any strangers hanging around? Mark and Jennifer looked at each other. Both shook their heads. The chief turned back to Emma. Honey, are you absolutely sure about what you saw? Emma nodded. I saw the lady, and I saw the blue monster. But the chief had worked with child witnesses before. 4-year-olds were notoriously unreliable. Their imaginations were vivid. They confused dreams with reality. But Emma seemed certain, and they had to follow every lead. Within an hour, the search had spread across the entire east side of Cedar Springs. Volunteers joined from all over town, parents from Lily's school, members of the church, complete strangers who heard about a missing diabetic child. They formed search lines. They walked through fields. They checked abandoned buildings. They called Lily's name until their voices went hoarse. 2 neighbors came forward. They'd seen a blue truck in the alley that afternoon, around 3:30 or 4. It was driving slowly, like it was looking for something. One neighbor thought it was a Chevy, late 80s, faded paint. The other remembered seeing a man driving. White male. Baseball cap pulled low. Couldn't see his face. The chief put out an alert. Blue Chevy truck, late 80s model. Driver is a white male, 30-ish, baseball cap, possibly involved in child abduction. Every officer in the county started looking. How many blue Chevy trucks could there be? As it turned out, dozens. This was rural Utah. Everyone drove trucks. By 6 o'clock, Lily had officially missed her evening insulin shot. Jennifer sat on the front porch, rocking back and forth, holding Emma, crying silently. Mark was still with the search teams. He couldn't sit still. He searched the same places over and over, hoping Lily would suddenly appear. The sun was setting. Searchlights swept across empty lots. Helicopters circled overhead, every officer, every volunteer, every neighbor, all of them looking for one small 7-year-old girl, a girl who could be dying without her medicine, a girl who had vanished in broad daylight. Emma sat in her mother's lap, staring out at the darkening street. She didn't understand why no one believed her. She knew what she saw. The lady came to the fence. Lily went with her. The blue monster drove away. She pressed her face against her mother's shoulder. I saw it, Mommy. I really saw it. I promise. But as night fell over Cedar Springs, one thing became clear. Lily Carson was gone. And whoever took her had disappeared completely, taking with them a child who had maybe hours to live without her medication. And the only clues they had were the words of a little girl. A little girl no one fully believed. By midnight, the temperature had dropped sharply. The desert air turned cold. Search teams were still combing through empty fields and dark alleys. Flashlight beams swept across chain-link fences and abandoned sheds. Volunteers were exhausted, their voices hoarse from calling Lily's name for 8 hours straight. But no one wanted to stop. Not when a little girl's life depended on finding her. Jennifer sat at the kitchen table. She hadn't moved in 2 hours. A cold cup of coffee sat untouched in front of her. Mark paced the living room. Back and forth. Back and forth. He couldn't sit down. Couldn't stop moving. Emma had finally fallen asleep on the couch, clutching her stuffed rabbit, her face still wet with tears. Chief Brooks came to the house just after midnight. He looked tired, his uniform wrinkled, his face grim. He sat down across from Jennifer. "We've searched every house within a 2-mile radius. We've set up roadblocks on all highways leading out of town. We've checked every blue truck registered in the county." "And?" Mark stopped pacing. Chief Brooks shook his head. "Nothing. We found 3 blue Chevy trucks matching the description. We questioned all the owners. All of them have solid alibis. None of them were anywhere near Maple Street this afternoon." Jennifer's voice was barely a whisper. "What about the man in the baseball cap? The one the neighbors saw?" "We're still looking, but without a license plate or a clear description of his face, it's difficult." Mark slammed his fist against the wall. "My daughter is dying out there, and you're telling me you have nothing?" Chief Brooks stood up. "I'm telling you we're doing everything we can. We have every available officer working this case. We've contacted the FBI. They're sending agents first thing in the morning. We've issued an Amber Alert across 3 states. "That's not enough." Mark's voice cracked. "It's not enough." The chief put a hand on Mark's shoulder. "I know. I have a daughter too. If she were missing, I'd feel the same way. But we need to be smart about this. We need to follow every lead. And right now, the most concrete lead we have is what Emma saw." Jennifer looked up. "But you don't believe her? I saw it in your face. You think she's confused." Chief Brooks chose his words carefully. "I think Emma saw something. I just don't know if what she saw is exactly what happened. 4-year-olds process things differently than adults. They see a woman. They see a truck. Their minds connect the two. But that doesn't mean the woman and the truck were together. So you think my daughter just wandered off? That she walked into an alley alone and got picked up by a random stranger in a truck?" Jennifer's voice was rising. "Yes, that's a possibility we have to consider. She wouldn't do that. Lily knows better. She's responsible. She wouldn't just walk away." Chief Brooks sighed. "Mrs. Carson, I've been doing this for 25 years, and I've learned that kids don't always do what we expect them to do, even responsible kids, especially when they're scared or confused." Mark stepped between them. "What are you saying? That this is somehow Lily's fault?" "I'm saying we need to consider all possibilities. Maybe she saw something that scared her. Maybe she ran. Maybe someone offered her a ride. We don't know. And until we have more information, we can't rule anything out." The chief headed toward the door. "Try to get some rest. I'll call you the moment we have any news." After he left, the house fell into heavy silence. Mark went to the window, stared out at the dark street. Police cars were still parked everywhere, officers going door to door one more time, asking the same questions, getting the same answers. Jennifer went to Emma, sat on the floor beside the couch, watched her daughter sleep. She looked so small, so innocent. What if Emma really had seen what happened? What if everyone was wrong to doubt her? Jennifer thought back to the afternoon. Emma sitting at the window. Emma always sat at that window. She watched everything. She narrated everything she saw like a little storyteller. Why would she lie about this? Why would she make up something so specific? A woman in a blue dress, a big hat, a blue truck. Those weren't details a 4-year-old would randomly invent. Not altogether. not all at once. Jennifer made a decision. She went to the bedroom, sat on Emma's bottom bunk, looked out the window. The same window Emma had been looking through when Lily disappeared. From here, Jennifer could see the backyard clearly, the swing set, the fence, the alley beyond, and parts of the neighboring yards. If someone had come to the fence, Emma would have seen them. If a truck had been in the alley, Emma would have seen it. Jennifer believed her daughter. She believed every word. The next morning came gray and cold. Jennifer hadn't slept at all. Mark had dozed in a chair for maybe an hour. Emma woke up confused. For a moment, she'd forgotten. Then she remembered. "Where's Lily?" Her voice was small, hopeful. Jennifer's heart broke. "We're still looking, baby. The police are still looking." "Did they find the blue monster?" Emma asked. "Not yet." Emma's face crumpled. "I told them where it went. Why didn't they find it?" "They're trying, honey. They're trying really hard." But Emma could hear the doubt in her mother's voice. She could feel that the grown-ups didn't believe her. By 8 o'clock that morning, FBI agents arrived. 2 of them. Agent Sarah Mitchell and Agent David Reyes. They were professional, efficient. They set up a command center in the Carson living room, spread maps across the coffee table, brought in recording equipment. They interviewed Jennifer and Mark separately, asked the same questions Chief Brooks had asked, got the same answers. Then they asked to speak with Emma. Jennifer hesitated. "She's only 4. She's scared. I don't want her traumatized." Agent Mitchell smiled gently. "I understand. I'm trained to work with child witnesses. I'll be very careful. I just need to hear what she saw in her own words." They sat Emma at the kitchen table. Agent Mitchell sat across from her. Agent Reyes stood back, taking notes. "Hi, Emma. My name is Sarah. I'm here to help find your sister. Can you help me?" Emma nodded. She liked this lady. She had kind eyes. "I need you to tell me what you saw yesterday afternoon. Take your time. Tell me everything you remember." Emma took a deep breath. "I was in my room, on my bed, looking out the window. Lily was on the swing. She was going really high. I wanted to swing too, but Mommy said I was too little." "What happened next?" "A lady came." "Where did the lady come from?" Emma thought about this. "I don't know. I just saw her at the fence. She was calling Lily." "Could you hear what she was saying?" Emma shook her head. "No. But Lily got off the swing. She walked over to the fence." "What did the lady look like?" "She had a blue dress and a really big hat, like this." Emma made the circle motion with her arms again. "Could you see her face?" "No, the hat was too big." "What color was her hair?" Emma squinted, trying to remember. "I don't know. I couldn't see." "Was she tall or short?" "I think tall. Taller than Mommy." "What happened after Lily walked to the fence?" "They talked. I couldn't hear what they said. Then they walked away. That way." Emma pointed toward the back of the yard. "Did Lily seem scared?" Emma thought carefully about this. "No, she looked like she knew the lady." This detail made Agent Mitchell sit up straighter. "She knew the lady? How could you tell?" "She wasn't running or anything. She just walked with her, like when she walks with Mrs. Rodriguez or Miss Kelly from church." Agent Mitchell glanced at Agent Reyes. This was important. Lily hadn't been grabbed, hadn't been forced. She'd gone willingly with someone she recognized or trusted. "Emma, you said you saw a blue monster. Can you tell me about that?" "It was in the alley. It was big and loud. It made a growling sound. Then it drove away really fast." "Was the lady with Lily when you saw the truck?" Emma thought hard. "I don't know. The fence was in the way. I couldn't see them anymore. But the blue monster was there. And then it was gone." "Which direction did it go?" Emma pointed. That way, away from our house. Did you see who was driving? Emma shook her head. No, I was too far away. Agent Mitchell pulled out a set of pictures, vehicle types. Can you point to the picture that looks most like the blue monster? Emma looked at each picture carefully. She pointed to a pickup truck. That one, but bigger. Bigger? Like a big truck? Yeah, like the ones Daddy sells at the store, the really big ones. After the interview, the agent spoke with Jennifer and Mark privately. Emma's testimony is consistent. She's not making this up. She saw something. Mark leaned forward. So you believe her? Agent Mitchell nodded. I do. Children that young rarely fabricate details this specific. The blue dress, the big hat, the truck, those are concrete observations. But Chief Brooks said kids her age get confused. Agent Reyes spoke up. Kids can get confused about sequence or timing, but they're usually accurate about what they actually saw. Emma saw a woman. She saw a truck. Whether those two things are connected, we don't know yet, but she definitely saw them. Jennifer felt a wave of relief. Finally! Someone believed her daughter. So what now? What's the next step? Agent Mitchell pulled out her notepad. We need to re-examine the woman Emma saw. She was wearing a blue dress and a large hat. That's distinctive. Someone else might have seen her. We also need to expand the search for the truck. Emma said it was bigger than a standard pickup. That narrows it down. Agent Reyes added, we also need to consider that Lily went with this woman willingly. That suggests she knew her, or at least recognized her as safe. Who on this street would Lily trust enough to walk away with? Jennifer thought about this. Teachers, parents of her friends, people from church, neighbors she knows well. Make a list. Everyone Lily has regular contact with. We'll interview all of them. Mark grabbed a pen and paper. Started writing names. Mrs. Rodriguez, the Mitchell family, Pastor Williams, Miss Kelly from Sunday school. The list grew. 20 names. 30. Wait. Jennifer's voice cut through the room. Everyone looked at her. What is it? The Harringtons. Alan and Patricia Harrington. They live on the corner. They have a garden. Patricia invites kids over sometimes to see the flowers. Mark looked up. Lily's been to their garden before. 2 or 3 times. Agent Mitchell made a note. What do you know about them? They're older, 50s, no kids of their own. They've lived here forever. Everyone likes them. Patricia volunteers at church. Alan works at the county clerk's office. Have they ever shown unusual interest in Lily? Jennifer shook her head. No, they're just friendly neighbors. They wave. They say hello. Patricia brought us a casserole once when Emma had the flu. Agent Reyes wrote down the address. We'll talk to them, along with everyone else on the list. But something was nagging at Jennifer. Something she couldn't quite place. She went back to Emma's bedroom, sat on the bunk, looked out the window. From here, she could see the Harrington house, their backyard, their garden. If Patricia Harrington had been in her garden that afternoon, Emma would have seen her. If Patricia had walked to the Carson fence, Emma would have seen her. Jennifer closed her eyes, tried to picture it, a woman in a blue dress, a large hat. Was it Patricia? She'd seen Patricia in the garden before. Patricia always wore long dresses, and she often wore a wide-brimmed sun hat when she worked outside. Jennifer's heart started racing. She ran back to the living room. The Harringtons. Talk to them first. I think Emma might have seen Patricia Harrington. Agent Mitchell looked at her. What makes you think that? Patricia wears hats like that, wide-brimmed, for the sun, and she wears long dresses, blue dresses. I've seen her in them. Mark stood up. But Patricia said she was inside all afternoon. She said she hadn't seen Lily. Maybe she's lying. Jennifer's voice was shaking. Maybe she took Lily. Maybe she's the one. Agent Reyes held up a hand. Let's not jump to conclusions. We'll talk to the Harringtons, but we need to be careful. If they're involved, we don't want to spook them. And if they're not involved, we don't want to falsely accuse them. The agents left. Jennifer and Mark waited. It was the longest 30 minutes of their lives. When the agents returned, their faces were unreadable. Well? Mark demanded. What did they say? Agent Mitchell sat down. They both maintained they were inside all afternoon. Alan was watching television. Patricia was doing laundry. Neither of them saw Lily. Neither of them were in the garden. But Emma saw someone, Jennifer insisted. I know, but it wasn't necessarily Mrs. Harrington. It could have been someone else wearing similar clothes. Mark ran his hands through his hair. This is insane. We're running in circles. My daughter has been missing for almost 24 hours. If she doesn't get insulin soon, she's going to die. And we're no closer to finding her than we were last night. Agent Reyes pulled out his phone. We're tracking down every blue truck within a 50-mile radius. We're interviewing everyone on your list. We're doing everything we can. It's not enough. Mark's voice broke. It's not enough. That afternoon, Chief Brooks got a call. A truck matching the description had been located. Blue Chevy, late 80s model, registered to Travis Miller, age 33. He lived on the outskirts of town. Officers were already on their way. Jennifer and Mark waited by the phone. Please let this be it. Please let them find Lily. 20 minutes later, Chief Brooks called back. We have Travis Miller in custody. We're questioning him now. Does he have Lily? Jennifer could barely breathe. We don't know yet. He's not talking. But we're searching his property. We're searching his truck. If she's there, we'll find her. 2 hours passed. The longest 2 hours of their lives. Then Chief Brooks arrived at the house. His face said everything. We didn't find her. Travis Miller wasn't involved. He has a solid alibi. He was at work all day yesterday. Multiple witnesses confirmed it. We had to let him go. Jennifer collapsed into a chair. Mark punched the wall. A hole appeared in the drywall. Nobody cared. Emma had been quiet all day. She sat on the floor of the living room, drawing pictures with crayons. She drew the backyard. She drew the swing. She drew a stick figure girl with blonde hair. She drew a woman with a big circle over her head. She drew a blue rectangle with wheels. She showed the picture to her mother. This is what I saw. Jennifer looked at the drawing. It was simple, childish, but it told a story everyone kept dismissing. I believe you, baby. I believe you. Emma looked up with big, hopeful eyes. Then why can't they find Lily? Jennifer had no answer for that. That night, as the second day without Lily came to an end, Jennifer made a decision. She wasn't going to wait for the police to believe Emma. She wasn't going to wait for the FBI to track down every blue truck in Utah. She was going to find out the truth herself. She was going to figure out who took her daughter. And she was going to bring Lily home. Because a mother knows. A mother knows when something isn't right. A mother knows when someone is lying. And Jennifer knew in her bones that the answer was closer than anyone realized. She just had to find it. 2 years passed. 2 long, painful years. Lily Carson was never found. The investigation continued for 6 months after that terrible night. Then it slowed, then it stopped. Chief Brooks kept the file open. But there were no new leads, no witnesses came forward. Lily had simply vanished. The blue truck was never identified. Detectives checked every blue Chevy in 3 counties. They interviewed dozens of men. They searched properties. They found nothing. The woman in the blue dress and big hat remained a mystery. Some investigators believed she existed. Others thought Emma had imagined her. Jennifer stopped working at the library. She spent her days searching, driving through neighboring towns, putting up posters, calling police departments. Mark kept the hardware store running, but barely. He moved through life like a ghost. Emma grew up carrying the weight of being the only witness, the girl no one believed. She stopped talking about what she saw, but she never forgot. The blue dress, the big hat, the way Lily walked toward the fence. She knew what she saw. The Carson marriage fractured under grief. Jennifer blamed herself for looking away. Mark blamed himself for not being home. They slept in separate rooms, ate meals in silence, stayed together only because neither had the energy to leave. Cedar Springs slowly moved on. The case became a cautionary tale. Don't talk to strangers. Stay where your parents can see you. But the specifics faded. Life continued. The Harringtons stayed on Maple Street. Patricia still tended her garden. Alan still worked at the county clerk's office. They'd been questioned multiple times. Their house searched. Nothing connected them to Lily's disappearance. Eventually, police stopped looking at them. But Jennifer never stopped wondering. Something about Patricia's face when she denied seeing Lily. Something Jennifer couldn't shake. But without evidence, there was nothing she could do. Then, in the summer of 2000, everything changed. A man named Travis Miller was arrested 60 miles from Cedar Springs. He'd been caught attempting to abduct a 9-year-old girl from a playground. The girl screamed. Her mother came running. Travis fled in his blue Chevy truck. But witnesses got his license plate. Police tracked him down within hours. When Chief Brooks heard the news, his blood ran cold. Travis Miller. The same man they'd questioned 2 years ago. The same blue truck. Brooks called the Carson house immediately. "We need you to come to the station. Travis Miller has been arrested." Jennifer felt her knees go weak. "Travis Miller? The man with the blue truck?" "Yes. He tried to grab another girl. We're reopening Lily's case." Mark grabbed his truck keys. "We're coming right now." At the station, they watched through a mirror as Travis sat in an interrogation room. Chief Brooks and Agent Mitchell entered. "Travis, we need to talk about Lily Carson." Travis's jaw tightened. "I already told you. I had nothing to do with that." "That was before you tried to grab a 9-year-old. Agent Mitchell's voice was cold. "Now we know what you're capable of." "I didn't touch that girl. Her mother saw you try to pull her toward your truck. The same blue truck seen near Maple Street when Lily disappeared." Agent Mitchell slid a photograph across the table. "This is your time card from July 14th, 1998. You clocked out at 3:15. Lily disappeared around 4:30, more than enough time." Travis went pale. "I was at work. I clocked back in at 5:30. Your supervisor says you left for a family emergency, came back at 5:30, right when police were searching for Lily." Travis stood abruptly. "I want my lawyer. I'm not saying anything else." The interrogation ended. Travis was held on the attempted abduction charge. But without physical evidence, they couldn't charge him with Lily's disappearance. Chief Brooks met with Jennifer and Mark. "We're building a case. We're searching his property again. If he took Lily, we'll prove it." For 3 months, police worked the case. They tracked his movements, searched his house, his truck. They found disturbing things: magazine clippings of children, a map with houses circled. But they didn't find Lily. They didn't find concrete evidence. In September, everything collapsed. Travis's lawyer presented security footage from a gas station, showing Travis filling up his truck at 4:45 on July 14th, 20 miles from Cedar Springs. The timestamp was clear. He couldn't have been in 2 places at once. Travis was released. Jennifer felt hope die again. Mark put his fist through a wall. Emma heard her parents crying. She thought they'd found Lily, but nothing was okay. Nothing would ever be okay. The case went cold again, this time permanently. Chief Brooks retired. Agent Mitchell moved away. The new investigators didn't have the same connection. The Carsons became another tragic statistic. 4 more years passed. 4 years of silence. Emma turned 10 years old, taller, quieter. She'd stopped making friends, stopped going to birthday parties. She carried guilt for not running outside faster, for not seeing the woman's face clearly. She walked past the Harrington house every day. Patricia was always in the garden, always wearing long dresses, always wearing that wide-brimmed hat. Emma never looked at her, just walked by with her eyes down. But one afternoon in May of 2004, everything changed. Emma was walking home alone. Patricia was kneeling in her garden. She looked up when Emma passed. "Hello, dear. Beautiful day, isn't it?" Emma froze. Patricia smiled. She was wearing a blue dress. And that hat, the exact same one. Emma felt something click. She was 10 now, not 4, old enough to trust her memory. "Are you all right, sweetie?" Patricia stood up. Emma stared at the dress, at the hat, and suddenly she was 4 again, watching from her window, watching Lily walk toward the fence, watching a woman in a blue dress and big hat. "You." Emma's voice came out as a whisper. Patricia tilted her head. "What was that, dear?" "You took her. You took Lily." Patricia's smile faltered. "What are you talking about?" "I saw you. That day, 6 years ago. You were wearing that dress, that hat. You called Lily. She went with you." Patricia's face went pale. She looked around. The street was empty. "Emma, you were very young. You must be confused." "I'm not confused. I remember everything. You called her. She walked to you. Then you took her." "That's not true. I was inside. I told the police." "You're lying. I know what I saw. And I'm not a little kid anymore. People will believe me now." Patricia took a step closer. Her voice dropped. "You need to stop saying these things. You're going to hurt innocent people." "You're not innocent. You took my sister. Where is she?" Patricia's expression changed. The kindness vanished. "You should go home. Your mother will be worried." "I'm going to tell the police it was you." Patricia leaned closer. "Tell them what? That you think you saw me 6 years ago? You already told them when you were 4. No one believed you then. No one will believe you now. You're the girl who cried wolf, Emma." Emma felt tears burning, but she didn't move. "They'll listen this time. I'm older now." Patricia's smile was cruel. "Good luck with that, dear." She turned back to her roses. Emma ran. She ran all the way home. "Mom, I saw her. I talked to Mrs. Harrington. She's the one." Jennifer was folding laundry. "Emma, we've been through this." "No, Mom, listen, I'm not 4 anymore. I know what I saw, and she threatened me. She said no one would believe me. Why would she say that if she's innocent?" Jennifer stopped, looked at her daughter. Emma was 10, not confused, not imagining things. "What exactly did she say?" Emma repeated everything. Jennifer felt something shift. She called Chief Brooks. "I need you to listen. Emma confronted Patricia Harrington, and Patricia threatened her. An innocent person doesn't threaten a child." Brooks was quiet. "Mrs. Carson, we searched their property 6 years ago." Emma is 10 now. She knows what she saw, and Patricia's reaction proves she's hiding something. Brooks sighed. "I'll make some calls." "Please, I know I was wrong about Travis Miller, but I'm not wrong about this." 2 days later, Agent Mitchell came to Cedar Springs. She sat with Emma. "Tell me everything Mrs. Harrington said." Emma did. When she finished, Mitchell was very still. "Emma, you said Mrs. Harrington knew no one believed you when you were 4, but you never spoke directly to her, did you?" Emma shook her head. "No, only to police." "So how would she know what you told them? Unless she was paying close attention to the investigation. Unless she had a reason to care what you remembered." Jennifer's breath caught. Mitchell pulled out her phone. "I need a warrant. I think we missed something 6 years ago." Within hours, police surrounded the Harrington house. Patricia and Alan were brought outside. Patricia's face was calm. Alan looked confused. Police entered with cadaver dogs. They searched the house, the basement, the attic, the garage. Nothing. They moved to the garden, searched the beds, the shed, still nothing. The search went on for hours. Dogs sniffed every corner. Officers were thorough, methodical, but they found nothing. They were about to call it off when a young officer noticed something strange at the far back corner of the property, about 40 meters from the house, hidden behind overgrown bushes. There was a pile of old garden equipment, clay pots, rusted tools, an old wheelbarrow. The pile looked deliberately arranged, like someone had placed it there on purpose. Not random. Too neat. The officer called his partner over. "This looks weird. Why stack all this junk here?" They started moving the items. Underneath, they found an old wooden board, wide, heavy. The edges looked newer than they should be, fresh wood stain on the corners. The officer knocked on the board. It sounded hollow. They pried it open. Beneath was an old stone well, very deep, dark. The smell of stagnant water rose up. One of the dogs started barking, scratching frantically at the opening. The officer shined his flashlight down. He couldn't see the bottom, just dark, murky water. The well hadn't been used in decades. It was filled nearly to the top with thick mud and stagnant water. Years of rain and sediment had turned it into a pool of dark sludge. The officer radioed for equipment. "We need a pump and rope. There's a well here. The dog is going crazy." It took 2 hours to drain the well. As the water level dropped, the mud became visible, thick, black, like tar. The pump worked slowly, pulling water and sludge up through hoses. Officers stood around the opening, watching, waiting. Jennifer and Mark watched from their porch. Emma stood between them, her hands gripping the railing. 4 meters down, 5 meters down. The water was almost gone. Only mud remained at the bottom. And then they saw it. A shape, small, pale, partially buried in the sludge. An officer descended on ropes. His voice cracked over the radio. "We found her. We found Lily Carson." The mud and water had sealed her in, prevented decomposition gases from rising. That's why no smell had escaped. That's why no one had noticed for 6 years. The well had become a tomb, silent, hidden, just 40 meters from her own backyard. Jennifer collapsed. Mark caught her. Emma stared at the well. She'd been right. She'd always been right. And if someone had believed her 6 years ago, maybe Lily would have been found in time. Patricia Harrington was arrested immediately. Alan stood in his yard, his face white with shock. "I didn't know. I swear to God, I didn't know." The investigation revealed everything. Patricia and Alan had lost a daughter named Melissa 10 years earlier. She'd been 7 years old. Blonde hair, blue eyes. The same age Lily had been. Patricia never recovered from the loss. When she saw Lily on the swing that day, something inside her snapped. She called Lily over, told her she had new flowers to show her, special roses that had just bloomed. Lily trusted her, walked right to the fence. Patricia took her hand, led her to the Harrington house through the back gate. Alan was at work. He didn't know. Patricia kept Lily in the basement. She didn't plan to hurt her. She just wanted to keep her, to replace the daughter she'd lost. But that evening, Lily started acting strange, shaking, sweating, disoriented. Patricia didn't know about the diabetes, didn't know Lily needed insulin twice a day. By the time she realized something was seriously wrong, Lily was unconscious. Patricia panicked. She couldn't call for help without admitting what she'd done. She couldn't take Lily to a hospital without being caught. So she let her die. And then, in the middle of the night, she carried Lily's body to the old well, dropped her in, covered the opening with the wooden board, piled garden equipment on top to hide it, went inside, pretended nothing had happened. For 6 years, she tended her garden, smiled at neighbors, brought casseroles to church functions, all while Lily's body lay 40 meters away, sealed in mud and water. Alan had been at work that entire day. He'd told the truth during questioning. He'd genuinely been inside watching television that evening. He never knew, never suspected. When police told him what they'd found, he collapsed. He divorced Patricia immediately, moved away from Cedar Springs, said he'd never forgive himself for not seeing what was happening in his own home, for not noticing his wife's obsession, for not questioning why she spent so much time in the back corner of the property. The trial was swift. Patricia Harrington pleaded guilty to kidnapping and second-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without possibility of parole. In her statement to the court, she showed no remorse, only said she'd wanted to save Lily from a life of illness, that she'd wanted to give her the perfect childhood Melissa never got to finish. The courtroom was silent. No one understood her logic. No one wanted to. Emma's testimony was read in court. At age 10, she described everything she'd seen 6 years earlier, everything she'd tried to tell people. The woman in the blue dress, the big hat, the way Lily went willingly. The jury listened. The judge listened. And Emma finally felt heard. But it didn't erase the guilt. It didn't bring Lily back. It just meant the truth was finally known. Jennifer and Mark buried their daughter properly. A real funeral this time, with a real casket, with closure they'd been denied for 6 years. The cemetery was full. The entire town of Cedar Springs came. Our community in Cedar Springs learned a painful lesson that day. Sometimes the truth comes from the smallest voices. Sometimes the most important witness is the one everyone dismisses. Emma Carson was 4 years old when she saw what happened. And she was right. If someone had believed her sooner, Lily might have been found alive. 6 years could have been 6 hours. This story teaches us to listen to children, to believe them when they tell us something is wrong. Emma saw the truth, and for 6 years, no one listened. When children tell you something important, believe them. Because sometimes a child's voice is the only one telling the truth.